Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network. Well, welcome back, everybody. We are on the cusp of a brand new year in the holiday season, and with that can come some challenges for some. You might find yourself maybe alone, not celebrating with anyone or with as many people as you thought you should be or might. How do you navigate through that? How do you find the joy in any situation? We're going to talk with somebody who offers a lot on the spiritual side. She's a psychic, renowned for what she does, but she's very different. She's very different in that she's a spiritual healer along with being a psychic. And along with that, I love what she has devised here. Design Your Life Spiritual Studio. That's the name of her business. And she's psychic medium Judy. She's back with us. How are you?
I'm great. How are you? Did you have a good Christmas?
I did. And you know what? It was quiet, and that was okay. And bring on the quiet. I'm good with that.
I really enjoyed the quiet.
Yeah.
I did do a little thing for the kids, and they all come over, and I had about 10 kids, and it was great. A few days later after Christmas, so they'd all had their gifts with their families. So it was nice.
This was an interesting holiday season because it fell in the middle of the week. Actually, Christmas, Hanukkah, yes, and New Year's falls in the middle of the week. And I found, talking to a lot of people, the day after was just like another day back to work. Most had to work. And it's like, was it just Christmas? I think it was. Wait, oh, yes, it was. That was yesterday. For those who find themselves, isolated during the holidays, what's your advice? What do you say?
Well, first of all, today with the internet, nobody should really feel isolated. You can always go somewhere and find somebody to talk to, or you can participate in some of the reels, and you can find hope in that. You start to get ideas and ways to think that make you feel a little more involved. So unless you're really old and you don't know how to use the internet or anything like that, but at that point, you're usually with other people and there's people around you anyway. So we don't have to be lonely if we don't want to be. But it is a really big deal. People bury themselves away, they feel so sad, and they always think, well, they have a better life than me. They do more than I do. And they have this Merry Christmas thing in their head, like Elf and everything else, and it's supposed to be magical. Well, magic starts within. We have to teach ourselves to have that magic, to be full of that joy. And then you attract more of it, Like one of my quotes is, after a session with me, your life will be a better place to be.
Let's talk about that. How does that happen? How does that work? So a session with you, you're a psychic medium, you are a spiritual healer. What's going on? When we say psychic medium, many people may be thinking, oh, well, she's going to connect to my relatives and that's going to make me feel better. That's not necessarily what we're talking about, correct?
No. A lot of people come to me for wisdom, for advice, for how to think better. They get themselves in a rabbit hole where everything is negative, and they come and they need to know how to think better. And I teach people how to design their lives. How do you set yourself up so that you understand that we are part and parcel of what is going on in their life? So I teach them how to think and how to think better and how to put their mind into what they want instead of what they don't want. And I go through a whole process with it. I might do it with you at our next session, but I go through a Design Your Life process, and I give them a 30-day program that they work on. And, men are great at it. Men come back with the 30-day program, and they have it all in sheets, and they have everything written down, and they have all their thoughts and why they thought that and how they can think better. And then we can sit and have a really great conversation, and then they tell all their friends. And so I get a pileup of men for, quite a good little while, because it changes their lives, because they start to think better,
Oh, I know.
Yeah, exactly. Right?
That was part of my journey. And then when I started looking at things differently, the world changes, and not overnight. It's a shift, and we're all in a work in progress. It's not all right, everything's great now. It's better, and then it just keeps getting better as you realize certain things. But you have to spiritually open your eyes to those things.
And your heart.
Yeah.
Your soul. You have to open yourself up to all the love that surrounds us and feel it and just become part of it. And the reason for the 30-day that I give them a 30-day program is because it keeps you on track. And things become a habit. And it takes, they say, 21 days to form a habit. Well, I cover my butt and I go, it's 30 days because we've been trained from the day we were born to know that pain gets you attention. So if you're programmed that pain gets you attention and you're feeling lonely, you're going to eventually get some kind of trauma to get people to pay attention to you, or you're going to end up in hospital, or you're going to have a car accident. Something's going to happen so that you can get that attention. But unfortunately, because our programming from the day we're born is pain equals attention, that's where our modality takes us.
Wow. Never thought of it in that regard. Now, many like to play the victim, and for many of the same reasons, but I never thought of it that pain equals attention. And think of it, from the moment a baby is a baby, what's the baby doing? Crying with good reason, hungry, tired, cranky, colicky. But
Wet.
what right? Thank you. What does baby learn?
Pain equals attention. And think about it. It continues on. You're a 2-year-old and your
Yes.
mom's on the phone and she's having a cigarette or whatever she's doing, and you fall over and all of a sudden she comes and pays attention, right? You're sick. Mommy lets you sleep in her bed. And what happens? You get all this extra attention. So we are, and let's face it, our soul is like a computer. We are exactly like a computer, how this memory creates. So when you get into difficulty, our go-to is, right,
Yeah.
I got to have something happen.
And the 2-year-old or 3 or 4-year-old will invent something
Of course,
just to get attention.
just to get attention. Any attention is good, even if it's bad attention. You'll see kids do something really naughty to get their mother's attention. It's just the way it is. So if you stop and you think about that, and that's the way we're programmed, we need to change that so that we can now start to realize we can get attention for good things too. Although it is harder.
Would you
It is
say,
harder.
yeah, and before we leave the negative side, would you say that when we're creating our reality to make it negative, we're intentionally almost making it happen?
We're unconsciously making it happen.
Right.
It's an unconscious recollection. It's like I think I told you, we all have our 5 angels. And they're trained to look after us. But they kind of the same as us. It's bad things get attention, right? So even they will give us stuff to get attention, right? And that's just the way it's working. So does it take 30 days to change a lifetime of programming? Yes. Can you keep up with it? Yes. Can you do it? Absolutely. And we have to remember, our soul is like our Windows operating system, right? So it's just acting like we put the brakes on our car. We do these things and we don't think about it. It's like the Windows operating system. It does things automatically. So there is a way to think better. There is a way to change things. There are miracles that occur.
I believe that it even goes right down to what you say to yourself and what you say to others. Like small things. But, for example, things that can be internalized negatively in your subconscious. Like I've gotten out of the habit of saying, I wish I did this sooner. Well, or it could be worse. Could be worse. You're telling your subconscious, be worse. You're saying to yourself, and your subconscious is like that computer program from back in the day. It's not very smart. It just wants to make you happy. That program is your subconscious. It doesn't know the difference. So could be worse. And here it's hearing be worse. I'm going to make him happy. I'm going to be worse.
So I'm going to give you a clue.
I don't have a clue.
Okay. So I'm going to give you a clue, and I'm going to give your listeners a clue. I want you to think about your soul, this program inside of you. It has a job. It's programmed. When it's there, it really is supposed to do a job. Number one is to make sure you survive. How does it know you're surviving? You have emotions. You're vibrating. It doesn't know if the vibration is good or bad, but it does know you're alive. Okay, makes sense?
Mm-hmm.
The second job is to make sure you have those emotions. So if you're going along and life is just cool and you haven't really felt good or bad, you just calm, all of a sudden something will happen. And what is it we say? It always happens in threes because you need that wake up, right? The next job of your soul is to make you right about your beliefs. Why do you think we fight with other religions? Why do you think it's so important to us that we're right? My daughter says to me, what makes me happy to be right? Let's be honest. Our soul wants us to be right. So if you have a belief that all men are like parking spaces, the good ones are taken, the others are handicapped, guess what? You're going to meet a lot of handicapped men. It's going to take you a long time. If you want a good relationship, the first thing you have to do is believe that good men exist or good women exist, right? So we have to start with our belief system. Our belief system is very, very important. And where do we look for our beliefs? We look in the past. And what have we learned in the past? Very simply, pain equals attention. We all want attention. Does that make sense?
For me, crystal clear. And yes, you hear a lot. How come there's no good guys out there? I can't meet any. Well, you're saying that there aren't, and you should reframe that and say, he's out there. I'm going to meet him. He's looking for me right now, and vice versa. And it's a matter of time until they show up. And you need to be patient because it's not on your time. It's on the universe's time.
But it is also on your time. It also is on our time. If we're able to change our belief system quickly and stay with it, we can change it very fast. So if you don't believe in fairies, they could be all around you and you wouldn't see them. And we actually have proven this in many different ways, that if you don't believe in it, you'll never acknowledge it. You'll never see it. Because we're so set in this, we have to be right.
Right about it not being existing.
That's right. That's right. Our beliefs, right? Are there other planets? Are there aliens? If you believe they are, they are.
So what if, well, let's go back to the relationship example. What if you've worked on yourself, you've realized a lot about your past, about your beliefs. You feel that you're in a good place. You've done the work, or most of it. Maybe somebody's done the program with you. Again, always a work in progress. It's not
That's right.
I'm fixed. Everything's great. No, it's an evolution. But if you're steps ahead now and you're looking for that perfect person and they haven't shown up, and you know what you want, maybe you've manifested, they haven't shown up. What's going on there?
You don't like yourself. It has to start with you, okay? So the last part of my Design Your Life system is, it's also about your parents. So there's two things we're born with. We have the need to know God. It's an absolute. We have a need. and you can see it through the Stonehenge, through everything. Man has a need to feel there's a spiritualness. We have that need. But we also need to love our parents. And that can be really tough, really tough. And the only place we have to look for reference is in the past, right? So our soul says, well, we got to give her emotion. We got to do something. Oh, well, her mother married a drunk. So that gave her lots of emotion. And she seems attracted to that kind of person because that's what she's used to. So we'll give her a drunk. And then you come see me and you get all clear for a little while, and then you divorce that drunk, and then you turn around and you marry a drug addict. So it isn't until you clear yourself with the universe that you love your parents anyway, that you let go of having to repeat the mistakes that your parents made. And I ask all of your listeners, all of your people out there, to look at how much they're repeating the mistakes their parents made. Are you trying to prove your parents wrong, or are you trying to prove them right?
And what you didn't receive from your parents, many times you're looking for somebody else to give it to you. Validation,
Yes.
love, whatever it might be.
Mhm.
Yeah. I want to share something with you because I it came up today, and I believe there's a reason. So, I went on a retreat end of February. I joined a men's group, signed up for this retreat, way out of my wheelhouse. Never done anything like this. What the heck am I doing? Like sight unseen, I'm going on this retreat. It just happened to be scheduled right when I joined this group. I didn't know what I was getting myself into. 3-day retreat, all day long, and there's a reason I'm bringing this up. I didn't have the greatest relationship with my father. Parents got divorced when I was very, very, very young. And it was all men at this, like 300 from around the country and world. And one of day 2, one of the exercises was whether you love your father or not, or like, or whatever it might be, you need to thank him for what he showed you. Find the good. There's good there. Find it. So I did. I made amends and I felt good about it. Then it hit me like a sledgehammer. It was like epiphany. The last day of the retreat, which was the following day, that would have been his birthday.
Amazing, eh?
It's almost as if he's like, you're going. I'm getting you to this event here.
Isn't that great?
That was like all right, there's closure on that door. And now on to other things that we need to take care of, we and everybody else. But 2 points here. What you just said, forgive, embrace, whatever it might be, but see the signs. Because if I didn't think deeper, because I don't remember his birthday, it was like, decades ago, many, I wouldn't have remembered. I needed to know it, and that's why it showed up in my mind. And I didn't realize it until the last day. I'm like, oh, wait a minute. So being open to it, being open to seeing things around you.
It is super important. And think about it. Everything we learn up until the age of 5 is influenced nearly 100% by our parents.
Mm-hmm. Good or bad?
Good or bad, right or wrong, it's 100% your parents. Then on top of that, they say that you are formed, all your beliefs are formed by the age of 7.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then you wonder why at 12 years old, these girls especially, because that's when they get their, menstrual thing going on and all that, and they don't like their parents or they don't like their mother. Why? Because they think about some of the things their mother told them and they find out it's not true.
Mm-hmm.
And then they start to question everything, and then they start to doubt themselves. And then they go through this huge, massive change. But usually by the time they're 20, they kind of go, well, they weren't so wrong after all.
We're just about out of time. I want to change things up for just a moment.
Okay.
Brand new year about to start.
Lovely.
What's your word for the year? So what's the word that's going to pilot you? We can all have New Year's resolutions, good luck to you with that. But a word that you're going to post everywhere that's going to say, that's going to be your pilot for the year 2025. And it might be easier to come up with that word thinking of what your word would have been for 2024.
Hope.
For 24?
For 25.
For 25?
Hope. Because we are in a very precarious worldwide situation right now. And I want everybody to hope. We're now into the age of Aquarius. The age of Aquarius is healing and joyful and human. It's about humanness. And I think people are freaked out what's going on in the States. People are freaked out what's going on in Syria, etc. Sometimes we have to clear things up before we can start something new. And this new world is coming in. The world is changing. We are going to get to a place where what I'm teaching, what other people are teaching, what we're doing, I would love to be here 300 years from now. And I'm really looking forward to what my grandchildren are going to do. And my word for 2025, don't criticize, hope.
Love it. Final question in 5 words or less. Do you feel that people are finally, maybe slightly waking up to a little spiritual feel of things with the 5th dimension coming our way?
Yes, I really do. Actually, the day it changed, my phone was ringing off the hook.
What do you mean it changed?
It changed. Pluto left, and we're in the age of Aquarius, 100%.
When was that?
It was in October. I don't actually remember the date, but it was in October. So it's just happened, and it's beautiful.
I wasn't planning on, and now we're way out of time, but I got to ask you this question. Did you notice, or people around you, did you notice things changing for them? Some kind of shift in October?
Yes.
Because I did.
Yes. Yes.
Very much so.
Yes. I think it was around the 18th. I think it was around the 18th. And my phone was ringing off the hook for days.
I got to trace back.
People felt the change.
There was I won't even get into it. It doesn't even matter. But I had things going on right around that time. Wow.
Yep.
I wasn't aware of that.
Love is in the air.
Fabulous talking with you.
Thank you.
Judy, how do we find you?
587-429-7303 is my phone number, and dylstudio.ca is my website, and I'm easy to get hold of.
Until you press a button for that elevator, because usually the signal goes out. So Happy New Year. Here's hoping for a wonderful future.
Okay.
We'll talk soon, okay? Thanks.
Bye, love.
We'll be right back. Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
Of course my kid's in the right car seat. Well, I think he is.
Yeah, my kid's in a booster seat. He was ready to move up. He is ready, right?
Her car seat looks like the right size.
There are probably rules on when to move up to a booster seat, aren't there?
Rear facing, forward facing. I think I have it right.
Car crashes are a leading killer of children 1 to 13. Are your children in the right car seat for their age and size? Don't think you know you know. Go to safercar.gov/the right seat.
I know my child's in the right car seat, or else I wouldn't get in the driver's seat.
Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.